Todd Payten, head coach of the Warriors, as we look toward the team that has been named for this weekend's game coming up, the Indigenous round match against the West Tigers. He joins us now. Todd, thanks very much again for joining the program. I suppose first up, let's look at the naming of that team, because you weren't exactly throwing a curveball. You knew that you're losing a few of your players, and I suppose you've got to enjoy the fact that you managed to get George Jennings over the line, and he starts. How difficult was it to put together this 13 and additions for this game, considering the losses you've had in manpower?
It wasn't that difficult. We've got enough numbers. We've obviously lost some quality and some big parts to our game, but George and Daniel Alvaro have come from Parramatta, and they've just jumped straight into it. Fair bit of information has been thrown their way the last 2 days. We've got another couple of days before we prep, and they seem to fit in pretty well, and everyone's in good spirits and ready to go. Yeah,
it's great. And, of course, you've also got Hetherington sticking around for another 4 weeks as well, isn't he? So it's not so bad on the player recruitment front.
No, it's good. I think Heather has been great for us. He's added a dimension to us in the middle of the park with his leg speed and his aggression. He's agreed to stay with us for another 4 weeks, but that can change from week to week given that they sustain an injury. So we're all well aware of how beneficial it can be for both clubs, but it can change quickly. So we just make the most of it while he's here.
Yeah, the aggression is one thing. It's old school, but I've got to say, him and Jared Wairau-Hargroves over the weekend, that was worth the price of admission alone, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was great. I thought a lot of our guys can take a little lesson from that. Standing up to the bullies, and there was a couple of other instances throughout the game where I thought a couple of our guys were pretty good in that. So it was a moment or a couple of moments in the game which a lot of people have been commenting to me about. So it's good for us.
When you look at the game as a whole, plain you didn't come away with the chocolates, and that was the ideal, but there's got to be a lot more to like than to dislike. What are you choosing to focus on ahead of this weekend's match?
Yeah, I'd like to take that defensive resilience into this week's match. There's no doubt we have to improve our ball security. I thought under pressure we just come up with a couple of real big mistakes in big moments, and that's the pressure that the good teams put on you. They were able to, hang in there for large periods. When we were putting some pressure on them, we just turned the ball over easily on their line, and they don't give you the opportunities that often. So that come back to bite us. Still a couple of try from kick, and the try that Joey Manu should have been stopped. So there's some improvement there, and it's something to work off. But the key for us is backing it up. We weren't good the week before, so we need to make sure that we're right from the very start of the match.
The goal line defence was extraordinary, if I don't mind saying so myself. The amount, I think there was maybe 3 times where they simply couldn't get the ball down. The dedication and that word aggression in that dead ball line was extraordinary to watch. What do you put that down to, do you think, Todd?
Oh, that's all attitude. Us. We need to move fast, and we did, and we kept turning up. But if you look at our last 6 games, we've let in too many tries from kicks. So we're doing a good job up until that last play, but we're not moving well enough, or at the very least until we get the ball back. We've had a couple of guys around the ball which kind of stopped moving, and that's the lesson for us, and we need to improve that to take our game and our D game to another level.
So is that an application thing from the players itself, or is it more of a structural issue from the coaching staff?
It can be both. It's an awareness from the player out in the park. Those middle forwards, I think they've done their job up until that moment, but they need to keep moving and surge towards the ball and anyone within that vicinity. So, a lot of the times they mightn't be able to come up with a play, but you never know if you're in the right position or you're putting some pressure on someone close to the ball, what may happen. So you've got to give yourself the opportunity, and we haven't done that.
Talk us through that Manu situation. I know you covered off just before. Was it just simply a matter of the attitude or a bit of sloppiness from the players and letting him bust through that line? It was only about, 10 to go at that stage, wasn't there?
Yeah, look, I thought the play could have been stopped over the far end of the field. I think it was the last play. Someone's rushed out of the line from outside in, which is, not part of the plan. Keary skips overs, goes pass across the field. And we've had a lot of players in the vicinity. They get a quick play the ball because we lose a tackle, and Joey Manu just gets out and we're caught on our heels. So, there's a lot of ways we could have stopped that, but I thought it could have been stopped, a good 20, 25 seconds before the ball went over the line.
Todd Payten joins us, head coach of the Vodafone Warriors. You look at the back line you've put in there, Patrick Herbert out on the right wing. Was there a temptation maybe to flop that the other way and have Pompey out there and maybe keeping Herbert in a centre position? A role, in my humble opinion, Todd, I think he's a lot better at, but just tell us the drive behind sticking him on that wing. Yeah,
so I guess our thought process behind that was Paddy's a stronger carry in the backfield than Adam. He's an out-and-out centre. And, on the kick returns, when Paddy gets the ball, he runs really hard. And, we're losing a couple of guys that do that. And, both of them are centres, but I think Paddy is better for us out the backfield. And I think he makes better decisions on the end of the line defensively. So, yeah, it was a tough one. We spoke at length about that. But we just decided to go that way.
As far as Adam Bleal's concerned, you gave him a bit of spray on this show a couple of weeks back. Do you think he's lifted his game after being demoted to the bench? I see he's still there. I don't know if that's because you don't believe he did enough or you believe that the props you've got did a bloody good job last week.
No, I thought Bleary was good for us on the weekend. I thought he moved fast. He was tight and clean with his defensive tackles. What he offers us off the bench is some stability and some senior leadership when he comes on the park. Well, it's about balance of the team. He played far better, and he knows that. I thought he was solid.
Does anything particularly enrage you, Todd? You kind of seem to be reasonably calm, but is there any part of that game where you just went, damn, I'm not talking drop ball or systematic more than anything?
I probably tend to get more enraged with referees than our players or their players. Look, it can be frustrating at times, but me going off is not going to help anyone. I was trying to keep a calm and clear mind and make the better decisions when I'm like that. So we do have our moments, there's no doubt, but that's not my style.
Take a listen to this. This is Jazz Tavanga from early on in the day.
I always tell him he needs a run, and I think the coaches have challenged him this week that his runs actually have to double in the weekend, otherwise he owes Tony Iro $100, I think.
Geez, double the amount of runs. Is that just the amount of runs or the actual yardage itself, Todd?
No, I think that's the amount of runs. So I think he's been challenged to hit 16 carries of the ball. He doesn't necessarily have to be tackled, but he's got to take the line on. I've said it, I don't know if I've said it on this show, but I've said it to a few people that Cody tends to be the barometer for us. The more he's in the game, the better we are. He's fast, he's elusive, and he's deceptively strong. So the more output we can get from him, the better footy team we are.
And one final word on Elisa Katoa and his involvement. Commentators love him. It's hard not to. He's only a really young man starting off in his career, but when we talk about potential around a player, this guy's got it in truckloads, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really raw. He's a rugby kid, so he's still learning league. He's a really dedicated professional for his age. I said in my press conference after the game that he's always seeking coaches out through the week and at training, asking questions and wanting more information. He's always the first on the park. He's the last one to leave it. I've got high expectations for him, and he's no doubt he's going to be a superstar and a 10-year player for this club. So He's making every post a winner at the moment with his effort and his attitude, and that'll hold him in good stead.
I said last, but I lied. This is the last one. I don't expect much of an answer from this Todd Payten, but I see the coaching candidates are slowly dropping like flies if NRL 360 is to believe, but you're still standing. That's got to fill you full of hope, doesn't it, Todd?
Yeah, don't believe everything you read, mate. Not until it's a statement's come by the club. But, yeah, look, I've enjoyed it. I really have enjoyed it. I've got some good help around me. The players have responded well. I think we're making some improvements from week to week, albeit not getting enough wins in the process. And at the end of the day, that's what I'll be judged on. So I'm aware of that. Like I said, I'll just get in there and having a crack at it, and we'll see where it takes us.
You're right. Crack it again. It's a Friday night game, 8 o'clock New Zealand time at the SCG. The Warriors taking on the West Tigers. All the fun of the circus. Thanks again, Todd, for joining us. And even though you didn't get the chockies, a wonderful game of football to watch. So you're getting closer. Thanks, Todd.